Every world hides its secrets, and some beings belong to more than one. I am born of two worlds where science meets spirituality and reality collides with imagination. Welcome to the space between worlds. The night sky over Neo-Atlantis burned with streaks of violet light. The city was silent, too silent for a place once filled with laughter and life. Somewhere beneath the tall glass towers, a lone human ran through the metallic corridors of an abandoned research base, his breath sharp, his heart pounding like a war drum. His name was Elias Kane, a communications engineer, the last survivor of Earth's lost expedition to Zerf Prime. He had not eaten in days, his radio was broken, and his only mission now was to make one last call for help. He reached the control room where dust floated like ghosts in the pale light. The massive communication console stood before him, dead for years. He slammed the switch, praying it still had power. The screen flickered once, twice, and then came alive. "Please," Elias whispered. "Just work this one time." The console hummed, its circuits glowing weakly. Elias typed a desperate message. "This is Elias Kane of Earth, requesting extraction. I repeat, requesting extraction. Anyone please respond." Static filled the air, then a faint voice. "Human transmission received." Elias froze. The voice was not human. It was calm, cold, and heavy like a whisper made of metal. He leaned closer to the mic. "Who is this?" "Not who," the voice answered. "What?" "You have entered forbidden frequency space." Elias's stomach turned. "I'm just trying to contact my ship." "I didn't mean to. You have trespassed, human," the voice interrupted. "Wait where you are, the mistress will come for you." The transmission ended. The console went dark. Elias stepped back, fear crawling up his spine. "Mistress," he muttered. "Who the hell is that?" He tried to shut down the system, but the screen flickered again, this time showing an image. A tall figure with smooth violet skin and glowing silver eyes stared at him through the static. Her presence filled the room like a storm. "Elias Kane," she said, her voice soft but deadly. "You've entered the wrong channel, one you were never meant to find." Elias felt his throat tighten. I didn't know. I was only trying to call for help." The image smiled faintly. "Help, yes, you will find it soon, but not the way you expect." Before Elias could reply, the entire base trembled. Lights burst. The sky outside the dome flashed as if lightning had struck from space. He ran to the window and froze. 3 ships, sleek and black like blades of night, descended from the clouds. "They found me," he whispered. He ran toward the elevator shaft, his boots echoing in the empty hallways. But before he could reach the door, a beam of blue light cut through the air and surrounded him. His body froze mid-step. He was lifted from the ground, weightless, helpless. And then everything went dark. When Elias woke, he was lying on a smooth floor under a soft golden glow. His hands were bound by light itself, glowing bands that hummed like living energy. The air smelled faintly of something sweet and metallic. He opened his eyes. He was inside a vast hall, walls carved from crystal and metal, strange runes glowing like veins of fire. And before him stood the mistress. She was tall, nearly 7 feet, her skin a deep lavender hue that shimmered with light. Her eyes burned with intelligence and fury. She wore a robe of white silk that floated like mist around her, yet in her hand she held a blade that looked forged from starlight. Behind her stood 2 armored figures, golden and silver, their faces hidden behind expressionless masks. Elias tried to speak, but the words caught in his throat. The mistress stepped closer, her gaze never leaving his face. "You humans never learn," she said softly. "You reach into the void searching for answers and then cry when something answers back." "I didn't mean to trespass," Elias said, his voice shaking. "I was lost. My crew is dead. I just wanted to survive." "Survive?" The mistress tilted her head. "Do you think survival gives you the right to break into our sacred channels? You have touched the Nexus orifice, the gateway between worlds. It was sealed for a reason." Elias swallowed hard. I didn't know. The mistress raised her blade, its edge gleaming against his throat. The golden guard behind her took a step forward, ready to strike. For a moment time froze, then she lowered the blade slightly. Perhaps ignorance is a mercy, she murmured. But ignorance does not erase guilt. Her eyes softened just for a heartbeat, a trace of curiosity, maybe even pity. You will come with me, she said. The council will decide your fate. Elias nodded slowly, too terrified to resist, but deep inside another feeling stirred, something fierce and human. He wasn't done yet. As the guards moved closer, he glanced at a panel on the wall, the same glowing runes he had seen in the base. A communication system, if he could somehow reach it again. Maybe he could warn Earth. He looked up at the mistress. If I go with you, will you promise not to hurt me? Her lips curved into a faint smile. That depends on how insolent you are, human. And with that, the room dissolved into white light. When Elias opened his eyes again, the world around him was different. The bright white light faded, revealing a vast chamber that seemed alive. The walls were made of a smooth, breathing metal that pulsed with soft light, blue, purple, and gold. Strange patterns moved like veins under its surface. He was no longer bound, but his wrists still glowed faintly where the light cuffs had been. The air was warm and carried a scent, like burning silver mixed with flowers that didn't exist on Earth. In front of him stood a massive window, showing a skyline that stretched beyond imagination. Towers like glowing spires reached up into the stormy sky, and enormous ships floated between them. He realized this wasn't Earth. He was on Zerf Prime, the home world of the mistress's kind. Then, a soft voice echoed behind him. You are awake, human. Elias turned quickly. The mistress stood near a table carved from crystal. Her white robe shimmered like liquid moonlight. Without her guards, she seemed different, less like a warrior and more like something divine. But her eyes were still sharp, watching his every move. Where am I? He asked quietly. In my chamber, she replied. You should be grateful. Most intruders are sent to the pits for questioning. Then why am I here? Elias asked. The mistress smiled faintly. Because you are not most intruders. She walked toward him, each step silent but heavy with power. Elias noticed symbols etched along her neck, glowing faintly like language made of light. You spoke to me through the old frequencies, she continued. Those channels have been sealed for 1,000 cycles. No human has ever reached them. Elias frowned. You mean others have tried? She nodded slowly. Many, but none survived the call. He took a breath, confused and afraid. I didn't mean to open it. I was trying to send a signal. My ship crashed. My crew died. I was desperate. Desperation, she repeated, her voice soft. It is a dangerous thing. It makes even fragile creatures do impossible acts. For a long moment, they just stared at each other. The silence was strange, almost peaceful. But Elias could feel something beneath her calm surface, like a storm hiding behind her eyes. He finally asked, Who are you really? You keep calling yourself mistress. What does that mean? Her smile vanished. It means I am the keeper of the orifice nexus, the gateway between worlds, the same gate your signal touched. Elias's pulse quickened. Gateway between worlds. Yes, she said. The orifice is ancient. It connects time and space, a wound in the universe that should never have been opened again. Your kind tried once before. It ended badly. Elias stepped back shaken. You mean Earth opened it before? Her voice darkened. The humans of your first age did. The old ones, they called it Project Dawn. They tried to steal the energy of the orifice. They almost destroyed both our worlds. Elias felt cold inside. He had studied the lost history of human colonies, but no one ever mentioned this. We didn't know. You never do, she said sharply. You reach out, and you take without asking who bleeds. For the first time, Elias saw pain in her eyes, real pain buried under pride. He realized she wasn't just angry at him. She was angry at what humanity had done long ago. He spoke softly. If that's true, then maybe I can help fix it. The mistress looked at him in silence. Then she laughed, not cruelly, but like someone who hadn't laughed in a very long time. You. A single broken human. You think you can heal the scar of the universe? Maybe not, Elias said, but I can try. She studied him again, her expression unreadable. You are strange, Elias Kane. Most humans I've met were arrogant. You are stubborn but different. Elias gave a small smile. I'll take that as a compliment. Before she could answer, the chamber door burst open. One of the golden guards rushed in and bowed. Mistress, the council demands your presence. They've learned of the human's arrival. Her eyes narrowed. Already? Yes, my lady, they are not pleased. She turned to Elias, her tone urgent now. Listen to me, do not speak unless I command you to. The council fears your kind. They will try to use your existence as an excuse for war. Elias's stomach twisted. War, but I didn't do anything. Silence, she snapped, then softened. Do as I say and you might live. The guard gestured toward the door. Shall I prepare the prisoner? No, the mistress said firmly. He walks beside me. The guard hesitated. That is not permitted. Do it, she ordered, her voice turning to steel. The guard lowered his head. As you wish, mistress. Elias felt her hand touch his arm, warm and almost human. Do not fear, she whispered. Whatever happens in that chamber, trust only me. Before he could answer, the chamber's walls shifted. The air grew heavy and the glowing runes dimmed. Somewhere deep below, something massive groaned like the world itself was waking up. Elias looked toward the window. The sky outside was cracking with blue lightning, and from the horizon a ring of black ships began to form. He whispered, "What's happening out there?" The mistress's expression turned grim. The orifice is opening again, and it's your doing, human. The chamber doors opened with a deep metallic growl. Elias followed the mistress into a vast hall that looked more like a temple than a courtroom. Thousands of glowing eyes watched from the shadows, figures tall and slender, their skin shimmering in shades of blue, gold, and silver. At the center stood a circular platform floating above an endless pit of light. The air hummed with energy so strong that every breath Elias took felt heavier. The mistress walked ahead, her robe flowing behind her like mist. The guards bowed as she passed, but their eyes lingered on Elias with disgust. To them he was an animal, a trespasser in their sacred world. A booming voice echoed across the chamber. Bring forth the human. Elias stepped forward, trying not to show fear. His boots made a soft echo against the polished floor. The light from above hit his face, warm but merciless. Before him sat the Council of Shadows, 12 figures seated in a half-circle. Each wore a black crown of light that pulsed with thought. The one in the center leaned forward. His skin was like obsidian, his eyes glowing white. "You are Elias Kane of Earth," he said. "You opened the forbidden frequency and awakened the orifice nexus." Elias tried to answer, but the mistress spoke first. "The human acted in ignorance, Supreme Elder. He did not know of our laws." The elder's voice rumbled like thunder. "Ignorance does not erase sin, Mistress Velara." Elias's heart skipped. Velara. So that was her real name. Velara raised her chin. "Then punish me, not him. It was my network that received his call, my decision to bring him here." The council murmured in shock. The elder's eyes narrowed. "You would bear his guilt for a creature of flesh and weakness." "He is not weak," Velara said quietly. "He crossed galaxies alone. That takes more courage than most of us have shown in centuries." The elder rose from his throne, his height towering over them all. "You forget your place, mistress. Your heart has always been soft for humans. It blinded your mother. Will it blind you as well?" Velara's eyes flickered with fury. "Do not speak of my mother." The hall went silent, even the energy lights dimmed. Elias looked from one face to another, sensing the tension. There was history here, something deep and dangerous. Finally, the elder turned to him. "Human, speak your truth before this council. Why did you open the nexus?" Elias swallowed hard. "I didn't mean to. My ship crashed. I was trying to send a distress call. I didn't know your world even existed." The elder stepped closer. "And yet you did what no human has done in 1,000 years. You touched the heart of the universe. Do you expect us to believe that was an accident?" Elias felt anger rise inside him. You think I wanted this? I watched my crew die. I just wanted to survive." The chamber erupted with whispers. No one had ever shouted at the council before. Velara looked at him sharply, a silent warning, but Elias didn't stop. "You talk about rules and sins, but I didn't come here to hurt anyone. You talk about old wars, I wasn't part of that. I didn't destroy your world. I didn't steal your energy. I'm just a man who wanted to live." The elder's face was cold. "And now you will die for it." He raised his hand, a blast of white energy began to form around him. Elias froze, but before it could strike, Velara stepped in front of him, spreading her arms wide. "Enough," she shouted. "If you destroy him, you destroy the chance to understand why the Nexus responded after centuries of silence." The elder hesitated, the energy faded slowly. Velara continued, her voice steady. "Something greater is at work. The orifice does not open without purpose." Maybe it called to him. The council whispered again. The elder looked at her in disbelief. "You suggest the Nexus chose a human?" "Yes," she said, "and if we kill him we may never know why." After a long silence, the elder spoke. "Very well, mistress, you may keep the human under your watch, but if he defies us again, his blood will mark the gates of your chamber." Velara bowed. "As you command." The council dissolved into shadows, one by one. The glowing eyes faded until the hall was empty again. Elias exhaled, realizing he had been holding his breath the entire time. You saved my life," he whispered. Velara turned to him, her expression unreadable. "Do not mistake it for mercy. You are alive because I need answers. The Nexus never opens for no reason." Elias nodded slowly. "Then let's find out why it did." She stared at him for a long moment. Then, for the first time, her voice softened. "You truly don't remember anything from before the crash?" "No," he said. "Why?" Velara's eyes glowed faintly. "Because the Nexus may not have found you by accident. It may have been inside you all along." Elias froze. "Inside me?" "Yes," she whispered. "Your blood hums with the same frequency as the orifice. The same forbidden energy that once destroyed entire worlds." The floor beneath them trembled. A deep hum filled the air, echoing from the horizon. Velara turned toward the great window, and what she saw made even her pale skin darken with fear. The sky was splitting open again. "It's awakening," she whispered. "And this time it's calling your name." The ground trembled beneath the silver towers of Zerf Prime. Alarms echoed through the endless city as the sky cracked open like glass. From the rift poured rivers of blue fire, twisting into the shape of a giant ring. It hung above the clouds, spinning slowly, alive. Elias stood by the window of Velara's chamber, staring in horror. "It's the same light I saw when I sent my call," he said softly. Velara was already at the control panel, her fingers moving over glowing runes. Her voice was calm, but her eyes betrayed fear. "The orifice Nexus is responding to something inside you. The signal you sent wasn't random, Elias. It was a key." He frowned. "A key? What do you mean?" She looked at him. "Long ago, your kind built the first link between worlds. They used human hosts to carry pieces of the Nexus core, energy patterns hidden in blood. When the war ended, we thought those carriers were all destroyed." Elias shook his head. "That's impossible." Velara stepped closer, her voice low. "Then why does your blood sing like the orifice? Why does it answer only you?" He didn't know. His heart pounded. Memories flashed, his ship exploding, his crew screaming, a blinding light before he crashed. And in that light, a symbol, the same one glowing on the walls now. Velara touched a crystal on the panel. A small projection appeared between them, a swirling sphere of light. "This is the orifice core," she said. "If it opens completely, it can tear reality apart. It must be sealed again." Elias's voice trembled. "Then stop it." "I can't," she whispered. "Not alone. Only the one it calls can close it, and that's you." He took a step back. "You want me to go in there?" "Yes," she said simply. "If you don't, both our worlds will burn." Silence filled the chamber. Outside, lightning slashed the sky. Elias looked at her, this tall, fierce alien who had once wanted him dead. "Why are you helping me?" For the first time, Velara hesitated. "Because I saw something in your eyes, the same defiance that once lived in my mother's. She died protecting humans during the old war." Elias blinked. "Your mother fought for us." Velara nodded slowly. "She believed humans were more than destroyers. The council called her a traitor, and now they will call me the same." He stepped closer. "Then maybe she was right." Velara's lips curved into the faintest smile. "Careful, human, you're beginning to sound like me." They stared at each other for a moment that felt longer than time. Then the entire floor shook violently. The alarm screamed again. Velara looked at the window. The giant ring in the sky had grown. From its center, dark shapes emerged, creatures made of shadow and light like living storms. "The Gate Guardians," she said grimly. "They protect the Nexus from intruders. If they reach the surface, everything dies." Elias grabbed her arm. "Tell me what to do." She hesitated, then reached for a small metal band on her wrist. She tore it off and pressed it into his palm. It was warm and pulsing, like a heartbeat. "This is a link device," she said. "It will connect our minds. I'll guide you through the energy field." He nodded, slipping it onto his wrist. The moment it touched his skin, a wave of light burst around them. He gasped, and suddenly he could hear her voice inside his head. "Do you hear me, Elias?" He looked up, startled. "Yes, I can hear you." "Good," she replied in thought. "When we reach the core, you must not lose focus. If the Nexus reads fear, we'll consume you, and if it reads courage," he could feel her faint smile in his mind, "then it might just let you live." Minutes later, they stood on a floating platform above the clouds. The Nexus gate towered before them, a colossal ring of fire and light, spinning in silence. Its center shimmered like a mirror showing the stars. Elias stared at it, speechless. "It's beautiful." Velara's voice echoed beside him. "Beauty and death often share the same face." She turned toward him. "Ready?" He nodded. "No, but let's do it anyway." They stepped into the light. At once, Elias felt his body dissolve, not die, but scatter into energy. He could see through space itself, through stars, through memories that weren't his. Voices whispered inside the glow, human, alien, ancient. He saw a battlefield, humans and Zerfs fighting side by side against something darker. Then he saw a figure, a human man standing beside a Zerf woman who looked just like Velara. Together they sealed the gate. Elias gasped. "That's her, your mother." Velara's voice trembled inside his mind, and the man beside her, "That was your ancestor." The realization hit him like lightning. The Nexus had chosen him because his blood carried the same code as the man who once sealed it. The light around them began to twist, turning red. The gate was waking up fully now. Velara's voice grew urgent. "Focus, Elias. Use your will, think of closing, not opening." He screamed against the storm, forcing his thoughts to shape reality. The ring began to slow, but then a shadow burst from the center, a creature with 1,000 burning eyes. It roared. The platform shattered. Velara reached out. "Elias." He grabbed her hand, their link burning bright. Energy surged through them both, merging human and Zerf essence into one blinding wave. The creature screamed and vanished into dust. The gate stopped spinning, the light faded. Elias fell to his knees, gasping. Velara knelt beside him, touching his face gently. "You did it." He managed a weak smile. "We did it." But then her expression darkened. "No, something's wrong." Elias looked up. The ring was closing, but a crack of black fire still pulsed at its heart, whispering like a voice. It spoke his name. "Elias." Velara's eyes widened. "It knows you now." The whisper turned into laughter, deep, ancient, terrible. "The gate remembers its maker and its destroyer." The world around them began to crumble again. Elias woke to silence. The storm, the gate, the fire, it was all gone. He found himself lying on smooth white ground that reflected the stars like glass. There was no sky, no wind, only the endless echo of his own breath. He stood up slowly. "Velara." No answer. He turned in every direction, but there was nothing, no walls, no horizon, just infinity. Then a whisper brushed past his ear. "You finally hear us, child of Earth." He froze. The voice wasn't Velara's. It came from everywhere at once, gentle but endless, like time speaking. "Who are you?" he asked. "We are the echo, the memory that lives inside the Nexus core. You carry our fragment." Elias frowned. "Inside me." "Yes, your blood remembers what your mind has forgotten." Suddenly, light burst around him. Images appeared in the air, humans and Zerf standing side by side, building a shining ring of energy. He saw his ancestor again, the man Velara had shown him, and beside him her mother. Together they sealed the orifice to save both races, but then the vision changed. Soldiers broke into the chamber, stealing energy crystals, shouting orders. The Nexus screamed. The gate exploded. Whole cities vanished. Elias fell to his knees. "We did this, my kind." "Your kind opened the wound," the echo said. "But it was we who built the weapon. Both races bled the universe." The light dimmed. Elias whispered, "Then why me? Why did it choose me?" "Because you are both. The blood of the human who sealed the gate and the memory of the Zerf who guided him." Elias's heart stopped for a second. "What?" "Your DNA carries her imprint. Long ago, the two shared their minds to close the orifice. That bond was passed down. It lives in you and in Velara." His chest tightened. The strange connection he felt with her suddenly made sense. It wasn't just attraction, it was legacy. Then the light around him flickered again. A dark shape formed in the distance, a figure of shadow and flame, tall with eyes like dying suns. "And now the other half awakens," the echo whispered. The figure stepped closer, its voice a hiss. "Elias Kane, you carry the key, but you are not the only heir." The shadow shifted and took his shape. It was him, an exact copy. The echo of his darker self smiled. "You try to seal the wound, I will reopen it. The gate needs a mind to shape it. Yours will do." Elias clenched his fists. "I'll never let you," the duplicate laughed. "You don't understand. I am you, the part you buried to survive. The anger, the fear, the power." The ground cracked beneath them. Storms of light rose like waves. Elias staggered back, feeling energy burn through his veins. "Velara," he shouted, "where are you?" Her voice answered, faint but clear inside his mind. "Elias, I'm here. You're inside the Nexus core. Fight it." "I can't," he thought. "It's too strong." "Then don't fight it, understand it." Velara's voice was urgent. "You are the bridge between worlds. Accept both sides of you." He took a deep breath. The shadow lunged at him, claws made of black fire. Instead of running, Elias stepped forward. The moment their hands touched, light exploded between them. Memories flooded his mind, his childhood on Earth, Velara's mother training in the ancient temples, two souls reaching for each other across centuries. He screamed as the pain and power merged into one. The shadow's voice shattered. "You cannot contain me." Elias answered, "I don't have to. You're part of me." The darkness collapsed into light. He felt something click inside his chest, like a door finally closing. The echo's voice returned, soft now. "The balance is restored for now." The world around him broke apart and Elias fell back into his body. He gasped awake in Velara's arms. They were on the floor of her chamber, surrounded by the faint glow of the sealed gate. Her eyes were wide with tears she didn't try to hide. "You were gone for minutes. Your heart stopped." "I met something," he whispered. "The echo and something else. A part of me I didn't know existed." Velara nodded. "I felt it. Our link flared like a star. You've tamed the Nexus, but it's not over." "What do you mean?" She looked at the sky. The crack was still there, small but bleeding light. "It wants freedom, and someone else is calling it." Elias stood, strength returning. "Then we find them before it's too late." Velara looked at him, her eyes soft. "Human and Zerf once started this together. Maybe only together can we end it." He smiled tiredly. "Then let's end it." But as they walked toward the window, the crack in the sky twisted again, forming a symbol, the same one that glowed on his ancestor's chest. Only this time it was red and alive. "He's coming," Velara whispered. "The one who started it all." The night over Zerf Prime was no longer black. It burned red. The crack in the sky had widened into a spiral of living light, and from its center descended a shadow wrapped in gold fire. The storm stilled as the figure took shape, tall, human-like, but too perfect, too ancient. His face glowed faintly beneath a mask of silver. Elias and Velara stood on the high terrace, staring up as the wind pressed against them. The air smelled of dust and lightning. Velara's voice was a whisper. The founder, Elias, turned to her. "You mean the one who created the Nexus?" She nodded. "He vanished after the First War. No one knew if he died or became part of the machine." The figure landed softly on the marble platform. The storm behind him faded into silence. He looked between them, first at Velara, then at Elias. "So," he said in a voice that was neither human nor alien, "the bridge and the keeper stand together once more." Elias felt the words vibrate in his bones. "You're the founder." "Once," the figure said, "long before your kind learned to speak. I was Dr. Arian Voss, architect of the Orifice Nexus, creator of the gate between worlds." Velara's eyes darkened. "You betrayed us. You brought war and chaos." "No," Arian said calmly. "I brought hope, but your ancestors feared it. They twisted the Nexus into a weapon, not a bridge." Elias took a step forward. "Then why are you here now?" The founder looked at him with faint pity. "Because the gate calls for balance, and you, Elias Kane, have broken it again." "I didn't open it," Elias said. "It pulled me in." "Exactly," the founder said. "Because you carry my code, my bloodline, the Nexus still obeys its maker." Elias froze. "Your bloodline?" Velara turned sharply toward him. "What is he saying?" The founder smiled faintly. "You thought your ancestor sealed the gate, human, but he was no ordinary man. He was my son." The words hit like thunder. Elias shook his head. "No, that's not possible." "It is," said Arian. "The Nexus recognized your signal because it remembers me. You are my echo, Elias, my design reborn." Velara stepped between them, her tone fierce. "Then why use him? Why now?" "Because," the founder said softly, "the gate is alive. It has learned to hunger. It will open again unless one of my kind returns to its heart. Elias must take my place." Elias stared in disbelief. "You mean die? Become part of it," Arian corrected. "As I once did. Only by merging with the core can it be calmed." Velara's voice trembled for the first time. "You can't ask him to do that." "There is no other way," the founder said. "The Nexus was never meant to close forever, but if it stays open now, both our worlds will be erased." Elias looked at Velara. She looked back, her silver eyes full of something she couldn't say. Fear, pain, maybe love. He smiled weakly. "Guess saving the universe runs in my family." She shook her head. "No, we find another way." "You have no time," the founder warned. "The gate has already chosen him. The longer he resists, the faster it grows." Lightning struck the horizon. The sky cracked again. The city's towers began to crumble as the orifice shimmered above them like a sun about to die. Velara grabbed Elias's hand. "Run with me." But the founder raised his arm and the world around them froze. The air itself turned to glass. Time stopped. Only Elias could move. Arian's voice echoed inside his mind. "Do you see now, Elias? You are more than flesh. The Nexus inside you obeys thought, not time. You can end this." Elias clenched his fists. "Then why can't you do it?" "Because I no longer belong to your world. My essence is only memory. You are the living code, the bridge between what was and what will be." Elias looked at Velara, frozen mid-motion, her face caught in fear and courage. "If I do this, she dies too, doesn't she?" The founder was silent. That was the answer. Elias closed his eyes. "Then I won't." The founder's voice turned cold. "Then the worlds die." "Maybe they do," Elias said quietly. "But at least they'll die free, not as slaves to your creation." The silence cracked. The frozen world began to move again. The founder stepped back, eyes narrowing. "You defy me as my son once did, so be it. But remember, Elias, the gate obeys will, not mercy. If you will not claim it, it will claim you." The light swallowed him. The founder vanished. Elias collapsed to the floor. Velara rushed to him, her hands glowing as she steadied his shaking body. What happened? He met her eyes. The founder's not dead. He's the Nexus itself now, and he wants me to take his place. Velara's face turned pale. Then we destroy it before it takes you. He nodded slowly. Together. Outside, the red storm roared again, but this time, two lights rose against it. One human, one Zerf. The gate pulsed once, as if it could feel them coming. The sky of Zerf Prime was no longer a sky. It was an eye, red, burning, alive, staring down at the world it was about to consume. The orifice nexus pulsed above the broken towers, each beat shaking the planet's bones. The air shimmered like boiling glass. Everything was collapsing, the cities, the oceans, even the stars themselves seemed to lean toward the gate. Elias and Velara stood at the edge of the grand spire, wind roaring around them, lightning carving their silhouettes into the darkness. The link band between them still glowed, weak but alive. Velara's voice trembled. "This is it. The gate has awakened. If we don't reach the core now, it will spread across the universe." Elias looked at her, his face calm though his heart was breaking. "Then we go together." She nodded once. Together, the descent they stepped into the beam of light rising from the spire's center. In an instant, gravity vanished. Their bodies became weightless, drifting through waves of color and sound, falling through memories, through time itself. Elias saw the past again, the first humans and Zerfs building the Nexus side by side, laughing, dreaming. Then he saw their fall, war, greed, destruction. Every scene felt like fire against his soul. Velara reached for his hand. "Don't lose yourself," she whispered in his mind. "The Nexus feeds on despair." He nodded. "Then I'll feed it something else." He thought of Earth, the blue oceans, his mother's voice, the laughter of his lost crew. He thought of Velara's strength, her strange beauty, the way she had believed in him when no one else did. The darkness around them screamed, but it could not touch him. The heart of the Nexus, they landed on a platform made of pure light. In the center floated the core, a sphere of fire spinning so fast it tore space around it. The founder's voice echoed from everywhere at once. "You came, Elias. The gate welcomes its heir." Elias looked up, unafraid. "I'm not your heir, I'm your end." The air rippled and the founder appeared again, half man, half flame. His eyes burned with sorrow. "You cannot destroy me, I am the pattern that made you." Elias raised his hand. The Nexus mark on his wrist glowed bright white. "Maybe, but patterns can change." He turned to Velara. "Link with me one last time." She hesitated. "If we merge again, we might not come back." "Then let's make sure we don't die for nothing," he said softly. She took his hand. Their eyes met and the link exploded into light. Union, their minds fused completely this time, no walls, no separation. Elias felt her heart, her memories, her pain. He saw her mother's face, the temples, the wars. She saw his childhood, his loneliness, his endless will to survive. For a heartbeat, they were one soul, human and Zerf, two voices speaking the same truth. "We are not enemies, we are one creation." The core screamed as their joined energy struck it. The founder's voice thundered through the void. "Stop, you'll destroy everything." Elias shouted back, "Then let everything be reborn." They poured their energy into the core. It cracked and light flooded the chamber. The founder reached out, his body disintegrating in the blast. "Elias, you fool, you've set it free." "I know," Elias whispered. "That's the point." Rebirth. The explosion spread across the sky, brighter than 1,000 suns. Zerf Prime vanished in silence, and then light turned to color, color to wind, and wind to breathe. Elias opened his eyes. He was standing in a green field under a soft blue sky. The air was gentle, warm. There were no cities, no towers, no machines, just peace. He looked at his hands. They glowed faintly like living light. "Velara," he called. A voice answered behind him. "I'm here." She stood there barefoot in the grass, her robe turned to silver mist. Her eyes were calm, no longer glowing, just soft, human eyes. He smiled. "We're alive, not alive," she said quietly. "Transformed. The Nexus didn't destroy us, it remade everything." Elias looked to the horizon. New suns were rising, gentle, small, perfect. The universe had restarted, but this time without the hunger of the old gate. Velara stepped beside him. What now? He took her hand, the touch warm and real. Now we begin again, no masters, no war, just life. She smiled softly. A new world from the ruins of the old. He nodded. A world built by both of us. They watched the new dawn together, the wind whispering through the grass like music. In the far sky, a single ring of light shimmered, the last memory of the Nexus. Then it faded, leaving only peace. Epilogue: years later, when the stars had settled and new life began to rise from the soil, a legend spread among the new beings of that world. They spoke of two lights that fell from the heavens, a man of earth and a mistress of the stars who destroyed the wound that divided creation. They called them the first balance. And in the wind, when the night was quiet, you could still hear their echo. Insolent human, you entered the wrong orifice. But you found the right destiny. Milky Way, the end, Milky Way. If you enjoyed this journey, leave a like, share your thoughts below, and subscribe to become part of this story. This is born of two worlds where reality ends and imagination begins.